So Frank Sullivan is going to talk to us about the updates to the PPM for alternative roadway paving treatments in Chapter 2, Volume 1, and bridge railings. That would be in Chapter 25 of Volume 1.
Okay, this is a minor update. Actually, it's an addition, a clarification to this section in the PPM on alternative paving treatments. And the reason this requirement was added is because local agencies on a few of our projects were asking the department to replace existing alternative pavement in kind at the expense of the department. And these sites were originally installed and maintained by the department. So as you look at this text in quotes here, it states, in cases where alternative pavement is being removed as part of a department project, replacement of such pavement shall adhere to the requirements in this section, regardless of the circumstances of the original installation and maintenance. And so just because the local agency hasn't been maintaining it in the past doesn't mean that the department is going to pay for it, the replacement, and continue to maintain it. And so the maintenance agreement will be required, and the local agencies have to fund and maintain the alternative pavement in every case from now on. Okay, this is an update on bridge railing, obsolete bridge railing to be specific, that is addressed in Volume 1, Chapter 25, 25.4, 24.3. And this update is intended to define options for upgrading bridge rail on 3R projects. As part of the Practical Design Initiative, obsolete continuous post and beam bridge rail are allowed to be left in place without a design variation if certain conditions are met. Some key information about this. In the past, for obsolete bridge rail to remain in place, a design exception was required. But this was really a department policy. In July 2007, FHWA published a document titled Mitigation Strategies for Design Exceptions. In Chapter 3, under Clarification for Structural Capacity, we find the following statement. Bridge rail that is structurally sound and meets current crash test standards is an important safety consideration. And updating substandard barrier is an important safety improvement on 3R and other projects. However, the type or condition of bridge rail is not considered to be one of the 13 controlling criteria that require a formal design exception. However, inadequate approach transitions to bridge rail are a design exception issue related to having an exposed fixed object in the clear zone, in this case the bridge end. Due to the severity of crashes and related to hitting a bridge end, this condition requires correction, and no design exception is typically granted for this. Discontinuous post and beam rails and all other obsolete bridge traffic railing must be brought up to standards or a design variation must be obtained. A railing replacement, retrofit, or entire bridge replacement must be scheduled within a reasonable time to justify a design variation. This is an example of structurally discontinuous concrete post and beam with curb and sidewalk. Precast rail members are wrapped in roofing felt, which is really just tar paper, and set in pockets in the cast-in-place post. Discontinuous rail has multiple snag points contributing to a high crash severity index. In this diagram, you'll see basically how the discontinuous post and beam rail is constructed by fitting precast concrete rails wrapped in tar paper into the post form. The post is then cast in place. However, there is no rebar tying the rail to the post. which is what makes it structurally discontinuous. To obtain a design variation to allow structurally continuous post and beam rail to remain in place, 3 criteria must be met. There is no structural work being performed on the bridge. There are no changes in the existing approach roadway alignment or cross-section, and there is no crash record or evidence of impact into the bridge traffic railing. Back one? Okay, there we go. So right now, we do not have a design standard that covers the details for preparing an approach bridge rail transition to guardrail for the continuous post and beam rail. But we're working on one that will be published as Design Standard 404 in July of 2013. And so until then, the designer must provide the plan details for attaching the guardrail to the bridge rail. There is, however, developmental design standard D7477 that addresses continuous post and beam retrofit and the transition only. It's a self-contained standard for upgrading the continuous post and beam rail with a Thri-beam retrofit. And in conclusion, Design Standard Index 402 can be used in combination with the 470 and 480 series to retrofit basically any other type of obsolete railing. And that concludes my presentation. Read it.
Hi, Frank. We do have one question that came in. It says, are any draft versions of Index 404 available for tech engineers to use until July 2013?
We have an index. We're already developing this index. It's going to go out for review next week. And so we have some details that will be available in the near future. We'll discuss that. Maybe we'll release those through a design bulletin early as a standard index, which would allow anybody to use it. Otherwise, if an engineer included them in the plans, they would have to assume the responsibility and sign and seal the sheet. So if you send me an email or email Charles Boyd, we'll discuss it internally and respond to you.
Thank you, Frank. I have a question that came in that says, Frank, to clarify, do we still need a design variation in order to leave existing continuous post and beam in place as well as discontinuous?
Okay, so discontinuous post and beam rails always need a design variation if you're going to leave them in place. And basically, one of the conditions on that is that we have to have something programmed to repair it, replace it in the future, near future, reasonable time. Now, for continuous post and beam rail, you don't need a design variation at all if you meet those 3 criteria that we reviewed.